Welcome to the Bookmark channel. Today, we journey through one of the most profound and enduring Christian allegories ever written, The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. This is the story of a man named Christian, who leaves behind the city of destruction in search of the celestial city, a powerful metaphor for the believer's spiritual path. Christian begins his pilgrimage burdened with guilt after reading the scriptures. Despite protests from his family and neighbors, he sets out alone. An evangelist points him toward the wicket gate, the beginning of the narrow way which leads to salvation. In Matthew 7 verses 13 to 14, "Enter by the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few." Early in his journey, he's opposed by two neighbors, Obstinate, who mocks his mission, and Pliable, who briefly joins him. But when they fall into the slough of despond, which symbolize despair and guilt, Pliable turns back. Christian was being rescued by help and presses on. Then comes Mr. Worldly Wiseman, who offers dangerous advice: to seek salvation through morality, not grace. Misled and nearly destroyed, Christian is rescued and corrected by the evangelist. Back on course, he finally reaches the wicket gate, where goodwill welcomes him and shields him from spiritual attack, flaming arrows from the Beelzebub's castle. At the interpreter's house, Christian is shown powerful visions, lessons of truth and warning. This can be explored in more depth in other videos in the current playlist. Continuing his journey, Christian comes to the cross, where his burden miraculously falls away. Overcome with joy, he is met by three angels who declare that his sins have been forgiven, clothe him in righteousness, mark him as a child of God, and give him a certificate for entry into the celestial city. Along the way, Christian meets others who have strayed, simple, lazy, and arrogant, unwilling to take the journey. He then sees formalist and hypocrisy, who try to bypass the wicket gate and enter the path by climbing over the wall. At the hill of difficulty, Christian chooses the steep, narrow way. The others take easier paths, and are never seen again. Halfway up, he rests in an arbor and falls asleep. When he wakes, the sun is setting, and he's lost his certificate. In panic, he retraces his steps, prays for mercy, and finds it again. Pressing on in the darkness, he encounters nervousness and mistrust fleeing in fear. Ahead lie lions, but Christian continues, trembling. He discovers they are chained, harmless to those who stay on the path. With help from the watchman, he enters the palace beautiful. Inside, he is welcomed by discretion, piety, prudence, and charity, who feed and refresh him. In the morning, they lead him to the armory, where he's equipped with sword, shield of faith, helmet of salvation, and breastplate of righteousness, for trials to come. He soon enters the valley of humiliation, where he faces his fiercest foe yet, Apollyon, the beastly prince of destruction. With the help of God, Christian stands his ground. A brutal battle ensues, but wielding the sword of the Spirit, Christian wounds Apollyon, who flees. Then comes the valley of the shadow of death, a place of utter darkness, terror, and despair. But with unwavering faith, he presses on, resisting the traps and whispers of hell. At the valley's end, he sees bones of pilgrims slain by pope and pagan, remnants of past religious oppression. Further on, he meets Faithful, a fellow pilgrim. Together they travel on, confronting Talkative, a man of words without substance. Faithful rebukes him, and he departs. Soon they arrive at Vanity Fair, a place of worldly pleasures and spiritual traps. Christian and Faithful resist. Arrested and put on trial, Faithful is sentenced to death and martyred. Christian survives and escapes. He's soon joined by Hopeful, moved by Faithful's courage. As the journey continues, they meet Mr. Byens, a smooth-talking man of wealth and comfort. He values convenience over conviction, and when Christian and Hopeful refuse to walk with him, he follows others chasing riches. Temptation comes again through Demas, who lures Christian and Hopeful toward a silver mine. They decline, Mr. Byans and the others go, and vanish from the way. Resting by the river of the water of life, Christian and hopeful soon make a grave mistake. They stray onto a seemingly easier path, led by a man called Vain Confidence. Darkness falls. Their guide is lost in a pit. A storm traps them near Doubting Castle, where they are captured by Giant Despair. Thrown into a dungeon, starved, and urged to take their own lives, all seems lost, until Christian remembers the key of promise. With it, they unlock the door and escape back to the true path. On the Delectable Mountains, they are refreshed and guided by the shepherds. Knowledge, experience, watchful and sincere. From the hilltops, they see graves of false teachers' victims, blind wanderers from the Doubting Castle, and a doorway to hell itself. A grim warning. Even pilgrims can fall away. In the country of conceit, they meet Ignorance, a man who bypassed the wicket gate and trusts in his own goodness. Though sincere, his path is dangerous. They continue on, only to be trapped in a net by the flatterer. Crying out, they're rescued by an angel, who reminds them not to ignore the guidance already given. As they near the journey's end, they meet Atheist, who mocks their hope. But Christian and hopeful are undeterred. They pass through the enchanted ground, where spiritual sleep lures many to ruin. They fight off drowsiness, staying alert through prayer and sharing. At last, they reach the country of Beulah, a land of peace and promise, bordering the celestial city. But one last challenge remains. The river of death. Christian trembles as they enter the waters, nearly overcome by fear. But hopeful supports him, reminding him of the promises of God. Together they cross, and on the other side are greeted by angels. They enter the celestial city, radiant and eternal. But not all make it. Ignorance, lacking the true way, is denied entry and led to another door, the one that opens not to heaven but to hell. The Pilgrim's Progress is more than a story. It's a mirror for every soul on the journey of faith, a path marked by trials, temptations, and spiritual struggle. The prince of this world wages war against those being freed from bondage, opposing their transformation into citizens of God's kingdom. Some obstacles, like the lions before the palace beautiful, are trials designed to test and reveal true faith. Yet God remains faithful. He strengthens believers through their weakness and leads them through each trial. Perseverance is essential, and for those who endure, there is hope and redemption. But those who stray from the way, no matter how far they've come, remain among the congregation of the dead. The story warns of those who turn back, like Pliable, who, after retreating to the city of destruction, became a figure of scorn, worse off than if he had never begun. The path to salvation begins at the wicket gate. Though many roads seem to join the narrow way, some crooked, some wide, only the path that begins at the gate leads to life. True pilgrims will discern the right way, for it is straight and narrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue exploring the Pilgrim's Progress with us here on Bookmarked. Until next time, stay on the way.